It's At the Freakin' Movies with your freaking host, Creationist Cat. Today's freaking movie is Kirk Cameron's Shaving Christmas. Shub Shadamites, Lord Shows Cat CC here, and I'm really freaking excited finally reviewing Kirk Cameron's Shaving Christmas. This is like the 23rd, 24th time I've watched this movie, and I gotta tell you guys, it just gets better with each successive viewing. Now, this movie has been a little unfairly maligned by critics and atheists, and I'm just gonna say it. This is a clear case of player-hating. When a talent burns as brightly as the Kirksters does, it's just inevitable that you're going to have haters. So let's start watching this piece of shit. I mean, this exceptional cinematic achievement. Now, right off the bat, Liberty University makes my favorite movies, guys. They also produced the Kirksters' Unstoppable, and they received a special thanks on Finding Faith, which I haven't seen, but it's got Eric Estrada looking like he's in dire need of his heart medication, and a family that's caught in the web that prevails. Really, what more do you want, people? So, clearly, when it comes to online Christian universities that produce movies, Liberty University is at the top of their freaking game. So, the movie starts off with the Kirkster talking on an overly lit, crappy set, sipping from a cup of imaginary hot chocolate. This was a pretty low-budget movie, so I guess they couldn't afford to actually fill his mug with a liquid of any sort, so that the Kirkster didn't have to fake drinking very poorly. He tells us how much he loves Christmas for about 5 minutes, and I'm not gonna lie, this opening is kind of fucking boring. But then there's this brief sequence that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, that basically looks like a Game of Thrones scene that's gonna end in some kind of horrible rape. But don't worry, there's this awesome animated credit sequence coming up, which they inexplicably add this cross-hatching effect to, making it insanely difficult to see what's going on. And so literally 9 minutes into the film, the movie actually starts, and we're at some freaking Christmas party being held at a soundstage that looks like the Pier 1 Imports Christmas catalog exploded all over it, and this extra right here apparently didn't bring a change of clothes after her field hockey practice. And there's the Kirkster, and the Kirkster's real-life sister. And this seems to be a huge step up in her career, because up till now she's played a photographer on Full House and a receptionist on Home Improvement. And you know what? It's not hard to see why she didn't have the career of her sister, Candace Cameron. The Lord definitely beat her a couple of times with the ugly stick. Let's just be real, folks. And she's the one throwing this huge party, and she's obviously a total fucking weirdo, because 90% of the people she's invited are children. And in general, none of these people look like they would ever show up at the same Christmas party in real life. Anyhow, they get to talking about his sister's husband, who apparently is not enjoying Christmas. He's in another room brooding, probably over the fact that he spent their life savings on Christmas decorations this year. And Christian White, that's not a joke, that's his actual character's name. He basically looks like Andy Dick would if Andy Dick never discovered crack. But what Christian White lacks in terms of hardcore drug addiction, he seems to make up for with his apparent desire to murder children. And then this guy over here comes over and starts talking, so Christian White has a conversation with Token Black. And I gotta say, Token Black over here has such a bizarrely thick beard here that just kind of stops there at the top, that I think he might be a shaved down man with hypertrichosis. Anyhow, Christian goes out to the SUV in the driveway to be alone with his homicidal urges, and the Kirkster finds him, and they have a pretty disturbing and very poorly ad-libbed conversation.
You okay? Yeah. It just gets
Anyhow, Christian just doesn't have the Christmas spirit. He thinks it's a holiday that just celebrates abject materialism, and all of its symbols are derived from paganism and other religions. You know, the truth. Said the Kirkster just ain't having it, and so he begins to explain the real story behind all of our Christmas traditions. Like, for instance, there were giant mutant rats at the birth of Jesus. And the baby Jesus was born not in a manger, but a cave, apparently, that was riddled with bullet holes to let in dramatic shafts of light. Oh, and then he says this.
You need to think of Herod's soldiers moving through the streets, finding babies and murdering them.
Because, you know, what's a festive holiday movie without talk of baby murder? And he talks a lot about this swaddling cloth and some other crap, and I'm not gonna lie, this part of the movie was pretty freaking boring too. It's basically like watching the set of a music video in slow motion with nothing happening at all for 10 minutes straight. But then we go back to the party, where Token Black and his new friend, with whom he shares the common bond of fatness, have a conversation that leads me to believe they are both huge Vigilant Christian Mario fans.
You heard about Area 51? What about Area 52? That's where they're keeping all the mangers and trees and nativity scenes they keep taking down. Come on, man, they got fluoride in our water. Come on, you got the chemtrails and HARP trying to control the weather with the womp, and GMOs and pesticides. Coincidence? I think not.
This is the best part of the movie, hands down. And I'm not sure, but maybe it's GMOs that are responsible for the horribly obvious dialogue dub that was added in post. They should have done the entire movie like this. Kirkster could have used his mug of non-existent hot chocolate. But anyhow, unfortunately, that only lasts another 5 minutes, which may seem long, but there's a lot more boring crap coming up. So believe me, you're thankful while this conversation, which does not drive the story forward in any way, shape, or form, lasts. So we get back to the car, and the Kirkster and Christian talk more about Christmas trees. And holy crap, we have another 10-minute slow-motion sequence where the Kirkster says that Christmas trees are supposed to be symbolic of the crucifixion of Jesus, which I guess explains why the Romans decorated Jesus with strings of popcorn and tinsel while he was dying. And they talk about that frickin' swaddling cloth for another 5 minutes. In fact, I think the running title for this film may have originally been Swaddling Cloth, the movie. Seriously, it has more character development than any human within the entire film. So then they talk about Santa, and it turns out the Game of Thrones-style rapist from the beginning is the original Saint Nick, who, according to the Kirkster, once beat the shit out of the guy from the party. He kicks his ass for saying something mean about Jesus. You know, like Jesus would want him to. He beats him with his ugly stick, and I don't fucking know. Holy crap, this is so boring! And so we're back to the car, and for some reason, Christian's feeling better now after learning all this crap about how mangers were actually caves, and Christmas trees are crosses, how Santa was actually a belligerent rapist, and some crap about the swaddling cloth. Look, he's probably just happy because the Kirkster finally shut the fuck up. It took him like literally 40 minutes to explain all this stuff that could have taken 5 minutes without the slow-mo shots and the painfully drawn-out ad-libs. So anyhow, he's filled with the Christmas spirit now, and he barges into his house. And I guess the asshole parked his SUV right in front of his door and left his brights on. And for a split second, they seem to think that he's either going to start mowing them down with an AR-15 or just get butt naked and take a shit on the floor. One of the two. But instead, he tackles the presents, and everyone is relieved because he's still having a midlife crisis, but it's one that is far less awkward to witness than what they were anticipating. And then there's a hip-hop dance sequence where we realize the horrific size difference between Christian and his wife. Don't think about the logistics of how that works for too long. It's terrifying. And we get to see the Kirkster doing the worm, which may be a surprise to some, but the Kirkster has always had the funky, fresh, dope dance moves.
Hey, Santa's got a brand new bag!
And like everything in this movie, this sequence goes on for like 10 minutes. And I'd like to point out that in the Liberty University Code of Conduct Handbook, attending a dance of any sort is strictly forbidden. So Liberty University has produced a film which technically should get itself expelled from itself. And so they eat, and holy cow, finally, this insufferable piece of crap is over. I mean, look, guys, this movie is great. It's my favorite movie of all time. It's got the Kirk in it. He's my fave. But don't watch this movie. It's a piece of shit. Don't do it. If you're looking for a show about its good movie like Troll 2, The Room, The Apple, or Miami Connection, this isn't it. This is a big fat slice of pure cinematic pain. It's not so bad it's good. It's just so bad it's bad. So, hey, Sodomites, there's still time to buy the Lord's Chosen t-shirt and get it shipped in time for Christmas. All purchases will come with a full pack of CC dolls from the Fold Up Toys collection, as well as several free MP3s. So that's a lot of free, super awesome crap. And by the way, we're going to be sending that crap out to you guys real soon. I'm trying to get them out to everyone that's bought a t-shirt this year, but I don't have all of the records. So if you do not receive that awesome free crap in your email the next couple of days, then snap a picture of yourself wearing the Lord's Chosen t-shirt and send it to creationistcatbiz@gmail.com, and we'll send that crap out to you real quick. And if you like what I freaking do, consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. You can join our holiday Patreon hangout that we're having this weekend and other cool stuff. So anyhow, check all those links down below in the Christ box. You don't have to, but if you don't, you'll totally burn in hell. Later, sodomites!